bit of a fab job today for my, as part of my work. This is what I do, so I thought I'd film it. Seemed like a good one to film, pretty interesting. So, chunky old 50mm wastegate that is going onto this naughty looking bus, right? So, if I just bring you around this way, I'm going to be welding, putting a hole in the exhaust manifold there, welding a stub on, getting the wastegate to go sit about there, and then exit with a screamer pipe going down that space. So there's got my work cut out for me today, that's for sure. I've just gone out and I've picked up some nickel rods, some butt weld, section of butt weld, 45 bend, which is going to go off the manifold and then into the wastegate. So I've got some nickel arc welding rods, so I'm going to knock the flux off, and that's going to be suitable for welding the stub over there, the butt weld bend to the manifold. And then I've also picked up some, what are we, 309, does it say here? Yeah, 309 stainless filler, and that's suitable for welding the stainless V-band to the butt weld bend. So yeah, boy, I think I underestimated this job, to be completely honest. Fair bit of junk in the way here. Not junk, it's a fair bit of stuff, automotive components. So I'm gonna have to pull the intercooler off, pull the turbo off, all this stuff. So I'm just gonna hack into it, eh? Alright, so put a little slice on this section so that I can position this in the right spot. Currently, keeping in mind the flow, so there's a little bit of an angle up there. It's not completely 90 degrees. And right now, the wastegate is sitting, I can't really move my fingers, but it's just touching the support for the intercooler just there. So just going to take a couple more mil off this edge just to tilt it out a little bit more, and that should put the wastegate in the right spot. Back to the bandsaw. Alright, so I've cut another little sliver off, and now it's sitting at the right angle. We've got that there. So with that sitting nice and square on the top, good clearance there, and we've got the exit pointing the right direction to go down that gap, avoid that aircon line, etc, etc. Alright, so now I'm going to mark where that's sitting and then pull the bits off, get the manifold off, and drill it and weld it. Alright, so I just wanted to tack the V-band on so I can then bolt or fasten the wastegate to it and sit it in place just to double check the clearance, because this V-bend kicks it up a bit higher. So it's one thing I've learned: when you just assume something, it's wrong. So bolt this up and then check clearance, and yeah, then I'll start taking off the manifold on that. Clearance is all good, so I'm just going to weld this one out, get that done out of the way. Right, so I've just done a root run, just fusion welded that just to ensure that there's penetration right down in that V. So I'm just going to leave this one for now and start working on the manifold. Woo! Boy, oh boy, these manifold bolts are an absolute, you know, that one. So obviously got the top off absolutely fine, no problem there. But some of these, the bottom bolts, getting access is an absolute, yeah, you know, that word. So underneath, absolutely just fisting the car, and boy, the hand cramps, man, it's tougher than it looks, eh? Mechanical work. So I've got 4, or that's the 4th one down there, if you can see it. It's finger tight, so finger loose. I don't know, I can about to, oh, not quite, it's stiff at the end there. So gonna get that one off, and then I've just got the bottom one of that, these two left. So whew, nearly there. And before you, yeah, so cool, take the turbo off, get more clearance. But this rear bolt here, like, ugh, equally as hard. So I don't think I'm gonna help myself much doing that. Maybe when I reinstall it, when the bolts are loose on the turbo, I don't know. Anyway, press on regardless, eh? Oh my God. So the manifold can't come all the way off one of the studs because the dump pipe, the exhaust is disconnected. The dump pipe's still on the turbo, and the dump pipe's hitting the chassis rail, not allowing it to come far enough. So dump pipe's coming off. Alright, so I've got one bolt left in the dump pipe that is really hard to access, and I don't want to round it. It's a little bit dicky. So I think the dump pipe will be able to pivot now, I hope. Of course. Wow, that was pretty stupid. Okay, now should come out. Got the turbo drain and oil supply off. All right, so turbo is off. One bolt remaining. Didn't want to tinker with that. It was giving me grief under there, and last thing I wanted to do was round it under there. So here we are. This, boop. So pull the turbo off, drill a hole, clean it up, weld that on, and put it back together. pretty tired, pretty weary, you know. So that's prepped. This is all welded, 309 filler on the top of that. So now I'm going to heat up this, the whole section, so as not to heat this section and potentially crack it. So got the oxy out, and yeah, put some heat over this and then weld it. So in preparation to weld, I've knocked the flux off these nickel rods. Got a few cleaned up for TIG welding. So time to heat this puppy up and yeah, do some welding, try and wrap this up. Spicy. Now this, you know, it's not the exact right temperature. I don't have a laser. I've misplaced it, but it's better than what it was, right? I'm noticing that this section of the casting is much dirtier. This section's welding quite well, but this is really bubbling up and giving me a bit of grief. But press on. Hi. Nice. I think I'm sort of getting the hang of it. I think if you work slowly and allow the, you know, any of the contaminants and the bubbles and all that in the casting to blow out in front of the weld, the puddle, seems to be working a bit better, fusing in better. I'm just going to hit it with a wire wheel. Nasty stuff. So I'm just going to be a little bit more aggressive with the cleaning on this edge. I think it's worth it. Try and get some of the contaminants out. Definitely went around the whole thing, but I figure why not? It's only going to improve the weld. So didn't find any porosity in the weld. It seems to be fusing in quite well. So probably do another pass or two. Alright, so the welding is done for now. This, I'll give you a proper look. The camera died earlier. Really happy with this. After I cleaned it up, it welded, or you know, cleaned it up more aggressively, it welded much better. So I've done 3 runs along there, high nickel rods. So that's done, and the turbo wastegate has been welded, and the actuator has been removed. So time to reassemble, put it back in the car, and then start that god awful process again. Luckily this time, putting the bottom bolts on, when I took them off, I cleaned all the schmutz off them, so I'm able to finger tight or get them snug down with my finger and just tweak it with this, as opposed to taking it all the way off with the spanner, make it a little bit easier. Oh man. My arms is just a full extension. I'm just so weak. Oh. It's done. It's done. Manifold's back on. My God, I've never, ever had that much trouble with a manifold. Not trouble, but like, it's never been that difficult. Alright, so I got the wastegate mounted up, got, you know, the intercooler, all the piping back in, which is good. It is 6:30 at night, and in a bid to try and keep on track and to the estimated price that I provided, didn't stop for lunch, so pretty bloody knackered. Really worked as fast as I could today, and as you can see, there's just a beautiful sea of tools that have made its way in the door, because there is absolutely no chance I'm putting them away tonight. That's tomorrow's job, and the screamer is tomorrow's job. So I'll show you the what is it, the wastegate, all that stuff mounted in the morning when it's light again. See you then. Alright, it's daylight again. So today, building the screamer pipe. It's just going to be a bit of, probably won't film a whole lot besides the welding, because it's just going to be a bit of, you know, holding this in place, tweaking it, seeing how I need to cut it a bit differently, and just slowly building it, tacking it, building it, and then welding it out. So probably won't be heaps of film from that, but I'll show you what I did yesterday. I've just got, firstly I've just got this section, because it's so close to the firewall, I'm just taking off the maximum amount of straight section whilst putting a slight angle to position it to go down, or down in the right spot. So it's all back together. And there we are. I've got enough clearance there. So, finger for reference. So this is what I was referring to, it's quite close to the firewall, so I'm just taking the length off it to pull it away and then go down that space. Let's go. Alright, so V-band is tacked on to the shortened bend, so just go over there, measure, get angles, cut stuff, and I'll probably check back in when I'm tacking some more stuff. Right, so I've got the down section sitting where I want, right in the middle of the cavity that it's going through. Right in the middle of that space. So I'm going to slice that bend, get the tip all prepped up, And then mark where I want the tip to sit on that straight, pull it out, cut it off, weld it on, weld out the whole thing, and then make a mount, maybe. Right, the screamer is done. Need a little tip on the end there, a little bit flashy, all tacked up. So now chuck it back in, make a mount for it, because I decided it's critical, well not critical, but to not stress the cast weld more than it needs to be. You're gonna make a mount to support all this weight. So chuck that back in, make a mount, tuck that on under the car most likely. It's always fun. And then pull it out, weld it out, put it back in. Done. End of. Alright, so there's the little template. This is the bracket that I've made for the mount. So I'll go bolt this up and then tuck it on underneath the car. Alright, so the screamer is all finished. Nice tip on the end. Fusion welded these joins. Use some filler on the mount. Whoop. Fusion welded, yeah, the bends. Then quite a nice bead around that V-band. So chuck it in the car now. We're off. Right, I'll squeeze in, mate. Alright, round 2, baby. Yeah.
Give her a bit of a play.
Hey? I don't know about that.
That was like a fart.
What was that? Jack's pretty happy. Yeah, everyone's happy. He's just about to do a pull somewhere. Oh, I can hear him. I could hear him a long way away. Nice, mission successful. Alright, so job done. I was really happy with my work and the client was stoked as well. Stoked with the sound, all that. He was smiling ear to ear, so call that a win. Alright, so hope you enjoyed watching me do what I do. If you've got any feedback, let me know. I'll try to keep filming the interesting jobs, you know, when I can afford to, when time permits. So yeah, tune in next time.